All right. Hey, everybody. Dan's here from the Sales Enablement Society conference, inaugural conference here in Dallas. I'm with Chris Kingman, who is the Sales Enablement Manager for TransUnion and actually one of the founding members of the society. So, Chris, welcome, and tell us a little bit about how you got involved in this Sales Enablement Society.
So I was doing a lot of research in my earlier years of sales enablement, looking for trade shows, conferences, anything that can expose me to other individuals in my role. I had stumbled upon the LinkedIn group. I joined the LinkedIn group, and then when a website emerged, I signed up on the website to become a founding member. And then they released the date for the first event. Fortunately, it was very close in proximity to where I live and work, so I headed up and not expecting anything, just going to see what it was all about. And sure enough, it was an interesting event. It was very eye-opening. It was great to see a lot of people who experience all the same things. There was a lot of revelation in the room of, I'm not the only one that knows what this feels like. So it was an excellent thing. And then from there, it's just helping out when I can, where I can.
Mm-hmm. No, that's huge. It's always great to be able to share with your fellow sales enablement professionals. When we think about sales today, because a lot of what we talk about on this podcast is how the game of sales has changed today. How do you think sales has changed over the last few years, and what do salespeople really need to focus on to be successful?
Sure. So I think the most important thing is the shift away from gimmick and product pitching. Mm-hmm. Wild claims of 300% revenue increase, a marketing slick, bombarding people with asset sheets, it's going away, and it's great. The shift that I love seeing is partners. Sellers are becoming partners. They're not becoming sellers. And I think selling can have a negative connotation, but the farther we go and the more that your sellers are enabled, the less of a pitchy salesperson they are and the more of a partner they are. And when I say partner, I mean somebody that comes to your business regardless of sales cycle length, learns your business, learns your challenges, your needs, really learns why your business is suffering or falling short to a degree, and then leverages solutions that company may offer to help alleviate those problems.
It's so true, and there was a recent study by the USC Marshall School of Business, and it said that buyers are looking for salespeople to be strategic partners.
Yes.
That's exactly what you're talking about. But the interesting part of the study was that only 18% of sellers had been viewed that way. So I think there's a huge kind of delta we've got to get to bring sales to that level. So what are some of the, how do we do that? Is it skills training? Are there specific tools? How will you kind of go about that?
Sure. So the great thing is that the skills that you need to be a successful partner is the basic sales skills. Listen, just listen. Ask pointed, open-ended questions and collect information. Don't be afraid to ask more questions, ask deeper diving questions. And if somebody doesn't know, ask for the person who knows. Collect everything that you need because you're building a solution for a person or a story to a degree of how you and your company can help this person. And I think just understand your product, what it can and can't do, and how it's applicable to customers. The worst thing you can get is a seller who will pitch a product immediately like a widget in a box, and then they stop and they don't know where to go with it, and then your conversation sort of just turns into, what's your favorite football team?
Right.
And the sale is over. You've lost at that point.
Right. Yeah, it's, the traditional sales approach, I think sales are definitely comfortable with, hey, I know the demo, I know my product, I can speak about that. But I think one of the big challenges today is get them in kind of that problem finding mode.
Exactly.
More of the discovery. And that's what I think, what I hear a lot of the effort is working with sales today to try and do that. What other tools do you think sales needs today to be successful when they go out there? Is it, we heard a lot about all the different technologies that are available. What do you think about that? Are there any kind of ones you gravitate toward, or
Sure. Your CRM is key, and you have to adopt it. There's no questions, right? You have to be ingrained in your CRM. It's not. It's almost a discipline, right? It's a habit. It's a reflex to log your notes, update your opportunities, keep your pipeline moving. You need to really, you need the skills to ask the right questions, and then you need sort of an acumen for whatever field your product is in, or your solutions are in. You have to understand the broader scope. If you're selling a software, you need to understand how that software interacts with other softwares in a sort of a technology environment, or you need to understand the basics of API. If you're selling, tractors, you need to understand farming. You need to understand the world in which that product exists, not just the product itself, because you're going to fall short in only describing attributes of your product versus how it impacts your product sphere of influence.
Mm-hmm.
I think from a technology standpoint, you need to have just the basics, right? You need your email, you need your phone, you need to be connected to your support networks,
mm-hmm.
because they're the ones, especially out in the field, that are going to bail you out.
Right.
And then you need a mobile. The power of selling face to face is going away, but video conferences are getting better and better and better. Every invite I get has a Zoom or a GoToMeeting on it.
I know.
And do I always need to see you? No, but it is. You can see both sides. You can see when your prospect is like,
right,
I don't
glazing
know,
over a little bit.
or checking their phone, and
right.
You can really save a sale or recoup the conversation that way.
Right.
And then just basic organizational tools, things that
mm-hmm.
help you stay organized on top. And it could be out of your CRM, or it could be a bolt-on application, just something that keeps you running after the most valuable activities first,
mm-hmm.
and prioritizing down from there.
Yeah, that's very important, because that same survey said that the wealthiest salespeople actually have time management down
Yes.
to a science, and they know how to focus on the money-making
Yep.
activities, which is key. Last question. I heard a great presentation on social selling yesterday with Jill Raleigh. What's your thoughts on social selling, and how is your team tackling it?
I think social is extremely important because it helps you stay top of mind and relevant, and it helps you share relevant information, and it doesn't have to be content generated by your organization. It can be industry knowledge, be trade knowledge. People selling in the enablement space, selling enablement platforms, can still share statistics and reports and CSO insights and all these things, like, hey, just making sure you got the latest
mm-hmm.
this. It's all top of mind and relevancy. Everything is not a direct pitch. And I think that's a very common misunderstanding, is social selling is I'm pitching over LinkedIn. No, it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
It's maintaining your brand, maintaining your organization's brand, and positioning yourself as sort of a source of content, a source of information. Maybe not the source, you're not the expert in your field, but you're always, I know I can always go to John Smith from XYZ company